Hello everyone. Today we are going to do our color wheel assignment, and we're going to begin to learn something about color theory. So we'll take this, which is on Blackboard. This is your color wheel chart. You can print it out and you can put it underneath a piece of watercolor paper, which is in your kit, and trace out this color wheel. Or if you want to just draw it out, we're learning how to draw as well, so you could just draw it and get started that way. And we're going to learn something about color theory and how when we mix these colors together we can create all the other colors in the spectrum. So without any further ado, let's get started. Okay, we're painting our color wheel, and we've taken this that you can take off Blackboard and print it, and I traced or drew it out onto a piece of watercolor paper. So that it's not going to buckle up too much on you. And we're going to paint the color wheel. And so I'm going to start with yellow, which is at the top in the middle. And I'm giving myself a little bit of both of those colors, a little bit of the warm, a little bit of the cool, the lemon yellow and the cad medium. And I'm going to paint that. In so that I give myself kind of what we understand as the primary yellow. Okay, now we're going to speed things up just a little bit, and you can see I'm just making some fixes to the yellow there. Now I'm mixing up the red, which is a primary red color. You see I spritz my paints to get them to activate a little bit. I'm using a little bit of the alizarin crimson and a little bit of that cad red pale hue, mixing the warm and the cool together just a little bit to give us kind of what we understand as the primary red color. So I'm not relying on one or the other. Now I'm going into the ultramarine blue, and I may be getting just a touch of that phthalo blue in there as well, and mixing those together. Again, I'm trying to create that primary blue color that can serve as the base to mix all the rest. So now I'm working on green. Greens tend to be a little tricky, so I'm starting with the cool yellow, and I've gone into the phthalo blue, which is the cool version of the blue. And I'm mixing those two together to try and create that, what we understand as that secondary green. I'm also going into that viridian green just a little bit there, just to kind of deepen the hue just a little bit. Again, I'm just really trying to use my memory, what I know about these colors from having seen other color reels. What is that, true secondary color? So now with that red that I had mixed up already in my paint wells, I'm going into the warmer version of the yellow color, and I'm mixing that in order to create my orange color. And again, if maybe a little bit deep, I think this is a nice kind of a primary orange color. And watercolor is always going to dry just a little bit lighter, and so you'll see that orange color kind of lighten up just a little bit as it continues to dry. Now we're mixing up violet. Violet tends to be pretty tricky, so I'm going into the cool versions of the red and the blue, which is ultramarine and alizarin crimson. And so I'm kind of mixing those together and really trying to create that color, that I recognize as being violet or purple. And I've got just a touch of an actual purple on my palette, and we can give you some of that out of a tube because it is such a tricky color to master. But I think we've pretty much got it. Okay, this next bit's going to go real fast. We're mixing up the tertiary colors. So we're taking the primary color and the secondary and mixing them together on their respective sides so that we can get our blue-violet, red-violet, yellow-orange, red-orange, and the yellow-green colors. And I think we've got it. Nice looking palette. What I want you to do with the value scale is choose one of the colors. I'm going to pick one of the little bit darker colors, one that I know is one of the colors that is staining, so that I can get a full value scale. So we're going to choose one of these colors, probably not these paler ones, kind of at the top. Something over here might work a little bit better. I'm going to choose one of the blues, and maybe even this. I'm going to choose this phthalo blue right here because I know it's a nice strong color, and I'm going to go here and make a very strong version of this color. and I'm going to paint it maybe about 2 or 3 from the end. This value scale of this color goes from 0 to 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 steps. So no color here, very little color here, all the way to its darkest version of that color on the other side. And we'll talk more about value scale, but in terms of the value scale, at this end, the colors are known as tints because they have more white in them. And at this end of the value scale, they're known as shades because they have more black in them. But you see, I have no white or black paint. Well, I have a little bit of Chinese white, but I have no black. So in order to make the very darkest versions, I'm going to mix in some other colors in order to darken, to deepen that color down. So I'm going to start here, a couple of steps from the end, and paint a really dark version of this color. Okay, so now I've come and I've begun to paint in my value scale. I stepped a couple of steps from the end, and you see I'm mixing in some dark. My little secret is I have a little bit of Payne's Gray. I also mixed in the complement to the blue, which is in that orange family, and that deepens the color or knocks the color down a little bit. So now I'm lightening the color as I go, adding water, and that really is one of the cool things about watercolor. Okay, so do what you can do. I think that one is actually, that one's even darker. There we go. Okay, see what you can do in terms of the value scale and your color wheel. And in class, we'll begin to talk about, when we talk about the color wheel, what these colors do when they are put with each other. So colors opposite each other on the color wheel are known as complements. And when you mix those together, you get a neutralization. So we create new blues, grayer, more neutral blues, and we create grayer, more neutral oranges by mixing the complements of colors together. So blue violet and yellow orange, red violet and yellow green, yellow and violet, green and red. These colors all mix together and play together with each other really well. And so learning how to use these colors is a really good step in figuring out how do designers work with color on stage. Okay, go forth and paint.